Hello and welcome to part 11 in my tutorial series on how to program the Kurzweil PC3. What I want to talk about in this tutorial is the Keymap editor. So let's go ahead, I've turned on my machine, pick 999, the default program. So then I'm going to hit edit. Okay, now when you hit edit, and you generally you land right on the Keymap page. So let's go ahead and just hit edit again because our Keymap is already highlighted. Okay, this is the Keymap editor. The Keymap editor allows you to assign samples to key ranges across the keyboard. So a keymap is a collection of these samples and their key assignments. For instance, for this piano here, I have a bunch of samples that are assigned to different ranges across the keyboard. And you can see that as I scroll through the different key ranges here. Okay, so let me I'm going to create a keymap right now as a way to show you how to use the keymap editor. So what I want to do for this particular keymap is I'm going to hit the enter button and hit C7 on the keyboard. Okay, and that's going to select the key range that I want and the sample that I want, which is sample 51 right piano A6. Okay, so this is the sample. I believe the sample root is A6. The ROM samples in the PC3 are all kind of named according to the programs that they're associated with, generally speaking, or at least the keymaps they're associated with. And so I can tell from this that this is right pianoforte A6. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to assign this sample across the entire keyboard. So I'm going to change the key range now from C0 up through G10. Okay, so now let me play across the keyboard. Okay, so this is the same sample. The reason why I picked one that was way high up on the keyboard is because the PC3 can transpose down basically infinitely. So I can pick a sample and have it transpose down all the way across the keyboard if I want to. Transposing up, the way the PC3 transposes is by increasing the sample rate. So whatever the sample rate is for your sample, that's going to determine how far you can transpose up. The PC3 will play back a sample at a max of 96 kilohertz. So that's going to put a limit on how far up you can bend a sample, but you can go down as much as you want. Okay, anyway, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So if we look now at the velocity range, this covers the entire range from triple P to triple F. So I want to add in another key or another sample as part of this keymap, and I want it to be triggered when I play harder. Okay, so when I play softly, I want the pianos to sound, and when I hit the key with more force, I want a different sound to sound. So first of all, in order to do this, I need to create a new velocity range. So I'm going to go to the vel range page, okay, and this will allow me to create a new one. The way I do it is by hitting split. Okay, so this will split the current range. Now if I go to high and I scroll with the scroll wheel, I can set the size for the selected range. Okay, so for the lower range here, I'm going to have it go all the way up to mezzo forte. Okay, and then I'm going to assign a sample that's going to sound from forte up to triple F. Okay, so right now we are looking at the triple P to mezzo forte sample or velocity range. Okay, to reach the other velocity range, I'm first going to hit this button here, toggle. Okay, so what toggle does, watch this in the upper right corner here when I hit it. Okay, so these little up and down arrows, this is the way that they refer graphically to the Chan layer buttons, which are immediately to the left of the display on the PC3. So if I hit toggle and it says key range, by hitting the Chan layer buttons, I can scroll through the different key ranges. Obviously, I have this sample assigned across the entire keyboard, so there's only one key range, so hitting the Chan layer buttons doesn't do anything. So if I hit toggle again, now I can scroll through the velocity ranges. So I'm going to go up, so now I have access to the higher velocity range here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick a Wurlitzer sample. Okay, and the sample root I'm going to pick is F6. Okay, so let me play now the note C4 on the keyboard, and I'm going to try and trigger just the piano, or the piano sample. Now I'm going to then I'm going to try and hit that Wurlitzer. Okay, so now the Wurlitzer only comes in when I'm playing with higher velocity. Okay, so let's listen closely to that. Turn the volume all the way up. Okay, I'm going to do something right here. I'm going to adjust the volume of the Wurlitzer down so they're not too far apart. I'm actually going to come down here. I'm going to boost the piano a little bit. Okay, so let's come back up here. Let's even out the volume a little. Okay, so you may have noticed that the Wurlitzer and the piano are kind of out of tune relative to each other. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this, the fine-tune parameter on the piano sample up to 0 cents. Okay, there's still sound, to my ears, that sounds out of tune. So, or I'm sorry, I think I just did that on the Wurlitzer sample. Let's do it on the piano sample. Okay, so we're starting at 0. So now, with the fine-tune parameter, well, first of all, let's try coarse tune. It sounds like it's less than 100 cents, but let's just try it real quick. Let's try tuning it down one whole step, or 100 cents. That's too far. Let's try going up. Yeah, it sounds a little flat, but it's not 100 cents flat. So let's go ahead. Okay, I'm almost there, so I'm going to... Okay, I think that's about as close as I'm going to get, just trying to do this on the video. So, using the coarse tune and the fine tune, I can change how these are tuned relative to each other. If I use master transpose now, that shifts the whole thing, both the piano and the Wurlitzer samples. It shifts them up and down on the keyboard. So that way I can control how these are, the sample is mapped across the keys for all velocity ranges at the same time. So that master transpose applies across all of your velocity layers. And I think it also applies across all of your key ranges if you have multiple key ranges. Okay, so that is the end of this video, my introduction to the Keymap editor. Stay tuned. We're going to go into sample editing in the next video, and I will see you then. Thanks.